Welcome to Where Passion Meets Purpose. I'm your host, Jen Mentasana. On this show, we help busy moms and entrepreneurs find more passion and purpose in their daily lives through inspiring stories and interviews. Welcome back, everyone, to Where Passion Meets Purpose. Thank you so much for tuning in. I hope so far you're enjoying this show. And if you are, please like and subscribe it. And I will have all the ways to connect and comment and get more information on our guests and everything in the show notes every single episode. So please be sure to tune in. And I just wanted to take a little time here today to share with you why I decided to call this show Where Passion Meets Purpose. Now, it might seem kind of obvious. We all kind of know what passion means and hopefully what purpose means. But for me, this title was really important and near and dear to my heart. It is literally my purpose for why I'm doing the work that I do now and why I want to come to you on a podcast every single week to talk to you about the importance of living in passion and purpose every single day. For me, living a life without passion just kind of isn't worth living. I feel so strongly and so passionately that we must find what it is that we love to do in this lifetime and try to tap into that every single day. And that becomes our purpose in life. You've heard me say, if you've listened to this show before or you follow me on social media, that truly tapping into your purpose is why we are here. That each and every single one of us are given innate gifts and strengths through God, through our higher power, to live out every single day of our lives. And this is why we are here. So whether you are born to be a teacher or a mom or run a large company or run a marathon or tell your story, whatever it is, there is a reason why you are here. And you are here to make an impact on someone else's life, whether that be your children, your spouse, someone that you don't know, somebody that you meet, walking down the street one day. You have no idea what kind of impact you could have on someone's life. And I truly believe that our gifts and talents were given to us so that we could make that impact on the rest of the world. This is why I chose to call this show Where Passion Meets Purpose. And a little bit about me and why I feel so strongly about this is because I recently found my purpose. I thought I knew what my purpose was. I kind of had an idea growing up who I wanted to be, but it wasn't until I had this epiphany that I had left behind a part of myself when I graduated from college that I realized how important it is that we remember why we're here and what we're born to do. When I was born, I was the first child to my parents. I became the older sister of two younger brothers, and that role was pretty significant for me. Mainly because when you're the first child, you are the one who's given all the attention and the focus when you're first born. And you are your parents' everything. And for me, that lasted about 2 years. And so obviously, I don't really remember a time where I didn't have a younger sibling. But I do remember a time where I felt free and like this little human being that was so excited about the world and what I was seeing. And like most of us, when we come into this world, we're just pure and unique and precious, and we're full of what God's purpose is for us. And as we grow up and our life experiences take hold, those things change who we are and who we're becoming. And so it's really important to try to remember back at a time where your life experiences and maybe the world around you was just new and fresh. And for me, as a little girl, all I knew was that I loved to sing and dance and perform. I wanted to be a dancer. I loved to be on stage. I was a ballerina from the time I was 3 years old. And my mom had been a dancer, so she introduced that to me at a very young age. But I just loved to get up and dance and sing and perform. Although as I got older, my light kind of diminished. And I could go into all the reasons why I think that happened, but who knows why things happen the way that they do in our lifetime. But it's up to us to always stay connected to that passion of who we are innately meant to be in this lifetime. And for me, that was someone who loved to be on stage, to communicate and to connect. And so as I went through life, I tried to stay in tune with that side of myself. I performed as much as I could. I was in school plays. I was in summer theater, always trying to be, dancing and singing and performing as much as possible, because it's where I felt the most alive and the most connected to myself. And so I continued to do that as often as I could. I felt alive when I was performing in our teen production in middle school. And then again, when I had the opportunity to be in public speaking in high school and speak about things that I was passionate, I came alive again in front of the podium. And so I knew there was something that I was meant to do. And while I didn't really feel the calling to be on stage as an actress or a singer or a dancer, I really wasn't that talented in that capacity, I decided I needed to follow this innate instinct that I needed to, in some way, be on a stage. And so I decided to go study broadcast journalism. And I went to school in Columbia, Missouri at Stevens College, which is in the same town as the University of Missouri, which was at that time the number one journalism school in the world, or in the country at least. And I studied broadcast journalism. I had a blast doing that, telling news stories, working in the studio. My college best friend and I were partners, and we would produce news stories around campus about what was going on, the upcoming football game, or stories about dorm life or whatever it was. And we just had a blast. And I loved sitting in the edit bay, putting our stories together till all hours of the night, laughing, and my friend Stacy getting mad at me that I had to have every single edit cut perfect, and we'd sit there for hours. But it was such a great time in my life, and I absolutely loved it. And I knew there was nothing I wanted more than to become the next Mary Hart on Entertainment Tonight, and that was my dream. But unfortunately, my dream got sidetracked when my parents divorced, and my dad basically called me up and said, you're on your own. I can no longer pay your bills or your college tuition. You're going to have to figure this out on your own. And it was the first time in my life I'd ever been on my own. I think I mentioned that in a previous episode. So I gave up the dream because all of a sudden it became about survival and making money. And I lost sight of that passion. And it became about making money and not about doing what I was truly meant to do. And so this message today is for anyone listening who may have felt like they got sidetracked and kind of lost their light and who they were. And I'm here to tell you that I want you to listen to this show so that you can find your light again, so that you can find what it was that you were meant to do in this lifetime, that God-given talent and that gift that you were given to make an impact on the world. And you can tap back into that. And maybe you're, in a career that there's no way you're going to give up that career, but you've kind of gone down a path of you're not living in your passion and your joy anymore. There are other ways to do that besides having a career. And I would love to help you with that. So please tune in every single week. We're going to have different stories on resilience and passion and finding your purpose. And I want you to tap into that again, because for at least for me, it truly is the only way to be happy. And I want you to know that you do have innate talents and gifts to share with the world, and you can find it again. So thank you for tuning in today. I'll be sharing more stories about myself, how I found my passion again, how I live in purpose every day, and how I am reaching out to each and every one of you. Thank you again for tuning in, and be sure to click subscribe and listen to the show notes or pay attention to the show notes so you can learn all the ways to connect with me. Thanks again. See you soon. Thank you again for listening to Where Passion Meets Purpose. If you're enjoying this show, please subscribe and download it so you don't miss an episode every single week. And if you think you have a friend who might benefit from listening, please share it with them as well. If you'd like to contact me, you can always reach me through email on my website at jenmentasana.com and my social media, Jen_Mentasana. And you can DM me there and I'll always respond, and we can connect about topics on the show or anything else you'd like to discuss. Thanks again for tuning in.